Sat Naam. I'm Lillian Savoy here with my yoga teacher and meditation teacher, Siri Bahadur. And I'm so excited to have you on Awaken Change podcast. So, welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I was, at first really intimidated to ask you to come on. And then I was like, he has so much knowledge. All he can tell me is no. So, I'm glad you said yes.
Uh-huh. Oh,
And
I'm sorry. That reminds me. I saw this sign on this truck's back window yesterday, and I thought it was so cool. It said, "This is what I do. I pet dogs. I play guitar. I know things." And that's it. And I'm going, "That's my life right now."
yes. Okay, well, so I pet dogs because I have four. How many dogs do you have?
One.
Okay, you can have three of mine. No, I'm kidding. I wish I played guitar, but I don't. I'm a dancer. So how long have you been playing guitar?
Since sophomore year in high school.
Wow. Okay, exciting.
Yeah,
And then
a
you
long
do
time
know
ago.
things.
I know things.
You do.
I
So
think I
now,
know things.
now, what do you think about this? I'm in this search and discovery part of my life. And this is why podcasting has been so fun for me to connect with people. And I just picture talking to all my best friends and telling them what I'm reading lately and what I'm going through and my journeys, and then bringing people that know things in here. And one of the things says that I just read, because I'm reading Sat Guru and I'm reading a book about death. And then I just finished his karma book, and I know he's a little intense for people, but one of the things that keeps coming up is we are supposed to tell ourselves that we don't know anything,
Hmm.
and that way we allow all the messages and the lessons to come in.
Hmm.
So how do you feel about that? About coming from a place of knowing nothing. Like, let's just pretend we know nothing today.
I think that's valuable, right? Because w what I have been learning is that the intellectual mind gets in the way of the intuitive mind, and it gets in the way of connecting to, let's say, life or divine presence, source, God, however you want to say. I'll just call it. I call it life. Um, is not available to the analytical mind. It's not available to the everyday mind, or what I've come to occasionally call the egocentric mind. That which processes the physical senses to through the nervous system to the brain, and then translating it to the mind, and then the mind translates it to us as presence or as awareness, right? So there's all these um, translators between what we're feeling, and part of that is what we're hearing, to our awareness. And we notice that when we're speaking, when we're having a conversation and not listening, we're weighing everything that we're hearing against our past experience, which is coded into our memory within the brain. And if it doesn't compute, we just go, that person doesn't know what they're talking about.
That resonates so much right now because I feel like and this just might be me, so maybe it's others if it's also me, but I feel like there's this disconnect right now of thinking we know things. And so it's exactly what you just said. So the brain immediately turns it off instead of actually pondering, like, does this person have a point? Does this person have some information that I don't have? And, is this valid? And I did a little test the other day. I had an old teacher drop something on Facebook, and and it was very political, and I really don't like politics, but I have to say my blood has been ignited with passion about make America healthy again. And
Hmm.
it lights me up inside. And I just want to share it with everyone. Everyone. I don't care who the face is behind it, and the political statue and the figure, but that just lights me up. So she dropped a bomb about a political and just immediately was negative. And I was just like, yay! I'm so excited to make America healthy again. And I got probably 15 comments, mean comments. Now, I purposely dropped the whole yay, I'm so excited because when the person resigned from the CDC, and I didn't respond to any of them
Hmm.
because it would have been an ego battle all day.
Yeah.
And how much in your experience is really the ego running the show? Okay, is the ego running the show when I'm genuinely excited about making America healthy again? Is that my ego?
Well, it's interesting because we don't know. We really don't know, or I don't know how much of my experience is ego and how much of it is pretty much I could probably guess 98%.
Ego.
And the reason I say that is that we all rely on our experience, which is modified by our perspective and how we've programmed according to our experience. Now, when you look at yogis or you look, I read and study the Christ letters, and his description of the cosmos is electrical particles, electricity, magnetically aligned, influenced by brain waves. And it gets into that what do you call it?
Yeah, quantum
Quantum
healing, quantum
perspective.
physics.
Right. And
I'm
so,
studying that right now.
wow. Well, cool.
Isn't that? It is cool. It's the electromagnetic field. I think that's going to be on my test this week.
Oh, wow. Well, good. And I'd be interested what the correct orientation to that is. But what that orientation yields is electrical particles magnetically aligned, influenced by brain waves. So what I see is what I think it is, regardless of, you know, and you and I can look at the same thing and we're seeing two different things, but it's true for each of us, right?
Yes.
And so, well, maybe what Sadhguru is saying is that if I don't know anything, then I am open to being non-judgmental. I'm going to say, you got a point. You got to, and it's your point, it's your reality. And so what we get to do in the life and the whole process of experience and karma and all of that is not subscribe to a belief or an ideology, but just to look at what we're experiencing and saying, okay, if I believe that, what does my life look like when I'm believing that?
Hmm.
What's my experience? Is it a good experience, a happy experience, or does it cause me stress? So if it causes me stress, I'm going, I better stop thinking like that. And
Yes.
and it's not right or wrong, it's just unhappy. It's either content and fulfilled, or it's unhappy and striving. So,
Ooh, that's good point. Unhappy and striving. That really resonates
yeah.
because then we miss a lot of, I think the people that listen to this podcast do own a business. They are entrepreneurs and they do strive. and we strive not to be judgmental. We strive to be open. We strive to learn things. But is it the secret unhappiness that's pushing us to do that?
You know, I was I heard or read something recently as well relating to that, and it was like prosperity and poverty. And we think of prosperity as having whatever I want,
Yeah, abundance.
abundance, abundance.
Yes.
And but and poverty is not having enough, right? Not having
Right.
enough to
Not
get
having
by.
enough or not having what you need
Exactly.
or being destitute, I guess.
But relegating it to, okay, do I have enough or do I not have enough? And I look around and I notice people with scads of money that don't have enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they're actually poor
Mm-hmm.
in 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 their mindset and
In
in
mind.
their sense of are they fulfilled or not. And that's why you go to indigenous countries and those people don't have anything, but they don't care
They don't care. Yeah.
until McDonald's moves in and the capitalist culture moves in and say, dude, you're missing the purpose of life.
And you need $3 for the Happy Meal.
Exactly.
That, by
Exactly.
the way,
And they had
isn't real
everything.
food.
Yeah. They had everything they needed a minute ago.
So interesting. Yeah. And how do you feel like you teach in meditation? Where do you feel like meditation fits into this? If we're putting the pieces of the puzzle together for ourselves and we're putting the pieces of we do have enough, we are enough, and we are good as we are. Where does
Mhm.
meditation come into this? Is it just a de-stressor? Is it a regulator? Just in your opinion, because I am in love with meditation, but it takes effort to actually sit down and meditate, to carve out the time and to meditate. And I feel like I definitely see immediate benefits, but maybe for a new meditator or someone that doesn't have a regular practice, what do you think, are the benefits of meditation that they could see right away? We love instant gratification.
Yes.
So,
Um, I think the the major benefit of meditation is realizing ourselves as presence and awareness, primarily as presence that comes from awareness. And that awareness is drawn from universal creative intelligence, right? From life itself. And so as I'm meditating, I I agree just to be still for a while, and I may use my breath for an anchor. I may use a mantra to orient myself that I can apply that to the analytical mind, the egocentric mind, to just be still enough and practice the yoga so that my body can be still enough so that those two distracting influences are mollified for just a minute or for the mind a second, right? And then when the mind starts talking, we just say, mm-mm-mm. Yeah, just be quiet. Listen to this. Listen to my breath, or listen to this mantra. And the mantras have been created to bring us to a sense of this. This allows you to align with universal creative intelligence. If you code this into your memory bank, then it will act to allow you to come to that space of neutral noticing. And I think meditation is about producing a state of neutral noticing. And when we have that space, then we can identify our thought patterns. When we identify our thought patterns, then we go, okay, is this helping me or not? Not is it right or wrong, not does it subscribe to any ideology, but does it allow me connection with that which brought me into being, which is life, right? And so,
Mm,
um,
love that.
and so I like the idea of nothing's right and nothing is wrong because you are
And I
who
like
you
what you
are.
said. Yeah, you are who you are. And you also said something about like it helps us identify, is this working for me or not?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Right?
and
And
a
maybe
lot.
did you say it exactly like that? Is this working for me or not? Not am I right or am I wrong, or are they right or are they wrong?
How does it feel? Like the Abraham lessons, it's all about, well, does it make you feel good? And you're never going to stop creating. So you're never going to be at that point where you don't have some creative impulse. Divine life is creative impulses flowing eternally, infinitely without any kind of boundary.
Hmm.
And and so the other question I could apply to my experience is, does this express unconditional love or not? So one of the hallmarks of life manifesting is it takes any situation I'm in and it says, can you bring unconditional love into this relationship? And if I can, it will change my my perspective of that situation. And I could go, yeah, um, and that will feel good, right?
And do
Because
you feel
it's what
like,
we all crave.
yeah, and do you feel like unconditional love is supposed to accept all opinions no matter what?
Well, from my perspective, I can accept that other people have a different opinion.
And
That
that's your
doesn't mean that I'm going
unconditional
to
love
adopt.
to them?
Yeah, I'm
Mm.
going, oh, good for you, but don't expect me to have that opinion because my experience has led me to this point. It's just like you can take someone that is on either side of the Make America Healthy Again, and one person is saying, I believe in science, and somebody can, usually the main thing with science is it's so limiting because it relies totally um, on the material realm, which
Hmm.
is only a fraction of the cosmos.
Yeah.
And so
And we
when
are the
there can
cosmos.
be when science can come to an intuitive orientation and say, okay, light particles magnetically aligned, influenced by brain waves, I can, you can do anything and it resonates with you just because that's your yardstick is the mind. And so but I'm not going to tell someone that believes in science that they shouldn't or that they're wrong. You just go, "Oh, continue to investigate. Is it working? Or if someone's totally intuitive, well, is it working? Continue to investigate it and see because there's always going to be clearing that can be done because we're especially here, we're working on a three-dimensional going on five-dimensional landscape. Some people are still like way three-dimensional,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, well, I know what 3D and 5D is, but I would love to hear your version of it.
Oh my God.
And please enlighten us. Okay, so a 3D being us,
Being
right?
us, yeah, time. and space.
Time and space.
Being established within time and space. So I can move. It's our perception that we can move forward or backward, but 5D takes us into a space that no,
Yes.
it's just here and now, and that there is no time and there is no space. Who are you right now? And
And
I don't know this stuff. This is just for me. It's all intuitive. I did not study quantum physics. Um, I failed math most of the time. I mean, I passed, I graduated, but I didn't understand it. And so the idea is, don't, I can't tell anybody they're right or wrong. They're just where they are. And, like in Texas, you just say, well, bless your heart. You know,
I love
I'm not
that.
saying you're a
I love
fool.
Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah. And so
Because everybody's so
it's
nice there.
it's tricky. Yeah, well, yeah, they're almost like Minnesota. They're nice, but they'll give you a backhanded, uh, you know. And bless your heart is the way of saying, you poor soul.
And you're
You
dumb as
only
shit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I loved the reason why we met, just for a little background for my listeners, is that Siri Bahadur was one of my yoga teachers in my 6 month journey of flying to Austin right after COVID to learn Kundalini. So he's amazing guitar, gong player, meditation teacher, very easy to understand. So I hope you're enjoying him so far. But one of the things that I just loved learning about that you talked about in class was Shunia. And here's how I picture Shunia. Okay, just because everybody, like you said, has their own perception, their own vision, their own intuitive skills, right? And we have our own, being an intuitive myself, it's just I have my own flashes of vision and my own guides showing me pictures that I can relate to. So when you mentioned Shunia, and I've meditated on that, I picture this little kind of, it looks like a octagon kind of. It's almost like a disco ball, but it's an octagon and it's in the center of my brain. And if I go in there through my third eye and hang out in the center of my brain, there's nothing there. There's just a blank space and it's so inviting. And so I wanted to share that with you just because I know that's probably not Shunya, but it is my Shunya. So tell
yeah.
us what it is. Tell us what what people can look for. And when they meditate, try and find something new in there or what's in there.
Well, it's interesting that you describe it like that because that fits in how I have come to orient meditation and shunya, or you could also call it the 0 point field,
Okay.
where shunya, I see it as neutral noticing. And that's like the 0 point field where, okay, so as I'm meditating, I'm focusing the gaze of the eyes at the brow point, level of the root of the nose and just inside the cranium, which stimulates the optic nerve. And so when you stimulate the optic nerve, you can follow it back to the center of the head, which um, physiologically is the third ventricle of the brain. It's a space. And within the third ventricle of the brain is thalamus, hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal. So the tissue of thalamus and hypothalamus and the glands of pineal and pituitary um, are in charge of incoming and outgoing information. Right? So I feel something with my senses. It moves from the peripheral nervous system to the central nervous system of the spinal cord in the brain. We just we think mostly about the brain,
Yeah.
handling
Instead of what's
information,
in it.
but it has to go through the spinal cord, and the spinal
Yeah.
cord is moving information, nutrients, lubrication, and um, that's mostly it, through the spinal fluid. And so Kundalini yoga is about awakening, getting that spinal serum moving and getting it up through the cord to the brain, delivered to the thalamus. And so information coming in th through whatever condition your spinal cord and brain are in, brain may be tuned, it may not be tuned. And so as I'm meditating, I'm going, okay, let's open up access to the brow point and actually deliver ourselves as presence and awareness at this bindi point, the third ventricle of the brain, which is actually etherically Ajna chakra, the sixth energy center. And so that's where we start processing um, what's coming to us physically, but also etherically, because that central channel, the sixth position, which is right there, and the crown, which is up higher, is taking all the information and all how we relate in the various chakras from um, security all the way to connection to divine life and all the steps in between. And so I'm looking to establish my presence at that bindi point, the bindi or the balance point, which is why you get that red dot on the forehead. It just reminds you of this space that intersects
Between.
the center line of the head, which like and now I'm saying, okay, if you just take the tip of your tongue, put it to the upper palate, and then move it back until you find where the soft and hard palates meet.
Uh-huh.
Right above that is the third ventricle of the brain. And so that little pressure gives you a physical orientation to a non-physical space.
I love that. Okay, that's cool because a lot of the meditations that are in the books that you shared with me and that I do some teaching from is locating that space behind that hard palate into that soft palate
Hmm.
and either humming or doing some breath work there. So, what do you find as far as when you're doing breath work? Do you tend to locate that spot just to remind you to go into that center space where the pituitary and everybody lives right there?
Yeah, the idea is just to go there first. Like when you're creating sound or moving breath and listening, the sound, you know, originates in the belly, vibrates through the heart into the throat, and then you can project that sound anywhere in the body that you want. You can project the prana of the breath anywhere you want because prana follows mind, mind follows prana. And so vibrating behind the upper palate and into the space behind the nose vibrates the brain and the cranium, which will make it comfortable to achieve a vibrational presence. It's like if you want to heal your heart, you're going to chant and you're going to bring maybe a little dynamic tension across the chest and feel it vibrating in your chest and then translate that inside to the heart. And so it's the same thing with the bindi point. If I'm chanting and I can take that sound and bring it into the sphere, then I establish myself at that central bindi point, the center of my awareness there, and then I expand the awareness from there all across my body and all across the outer field. And so uh, Shunia is getting into that space where you create room for all the thoughts, all the feelings, all the conditions of your body. And you just say, now I'm not going to judge that as good or bad. I'm just going to bring it into this space and pronounce it zero. I don't want to change the negatives into positives or the positives into negative. I want to be at zero because zero will elevate the overall uh, consciousness frequency So you know, as when you started meditating, or you notice, before I started meditating, my baseline of frequency was like down, let's say down here, just concerned with making a living, getting from point A to
Yeah.
point B. And as you begin to meditate, your the frequency vibration goes higher, and so you're still having highs and lows, but the lows are not so low, and the the highs keep getting higher. And that's the whole electromagnetic thing. As soon as you have electricity and magnetism working, you have to have polarization.
Yeah.
But the idea is it like really low vibrational alignment, or is it increasingly higher vibrational alignment, which people, engaged in spiritual evolution, they're just looking, okay, let's raise the frequency, because where we are right now, we don't know what the frequency of divine life is, but we know when we're on track because we get to feel a little lighter, a little more neutral, and a little more loving. And that's, we all have this
Yes.
inside barometer for unconditional love. I know when I'm getting it, I know when I'm not getting it.
Hmm.
I know what
Hmm.
I
That's
know I
so
know if I
true.
want to get it, I have to give it.
Yes, and we're spending so much time, like you said, working and, time, space management that we forget that we are just supposed to give unconditional love and then also be the being that receives it,
Yes.
a giving and receiving. And it feels so good. I'm having this recent epiphany because I'm writing my second book, Siri, and it's really been fun. And it is a process that I'm writing, but it is also about a giving and receiving. And I find that if I don't meditate, I don't receive very well. I give until I run out of energy. Whether that's cooking and, family stuff and carpooling, and I get into this pattern of give and forget to just sit down, meditate and receive this unconditional love from source.
Hmm.
And that's so important. And I think we just skip over the part of just being able to receive because we want to receive from humans. But
Right.
sitting down and meditating and just receiving messages from beings or cosmic love or um, the owl hooting out of your window. Just
Yes.
being able to be so present that you can receive that information.
Yes. It's, and so the key is practicing giving, just make making allowing everyone to feel like they are the center of your attention in the moment that you're with them.
Mhm.
And what happens is they recognize that and they just go, "Oh my God, this is different." And they feel good. And then they reciprocate,
Yeah.
or divine life reciprocates, or your crystal and essential self says, "Yeah, okay, let's keep doing this because the cycle is really is building, it's elevating, uh, and people respond. It's like I remember one of the lessons was yogis don't ask anything from the divine for themselves. They always
Okay.
ask for someone else. Because when you ask for someone else, you set up the the dynamic of cause and effect, and so you draw to yourself what you're putting out.
So do you, as a yogi, buy into that? Are we supposed to not ask for ourselves and we are just supposed to ask for others? Because that's literally what I'm working on personally in my book. It's, because I'm writing down all the things that I'm giving. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've given 6 people my time today and I've given myself zero.
Hmm.
So when we talk to the divine, are we, because I've been taught both ways, that you bless them, but you bless yourself. You ask for them, but you ask yourself. So are we really creating just this karmic evolution of too much stuff, or are we creating good karma, or is it neutral? Are we back to the neutral mind? Are we back to Shunia? Are we back to 0 point?
I I I think that ultimately living in that space of shunya is the goal, right? But it
Yes.
doesn't mean that there's nothing there. It just means that I'm not holding on to anything because it's like you read the Gospels and stuff, and some of the lessons where you just look at nature,
Yeah.
look at trees and flowers, look at birds. They don't have a 401k. They're not going to work. You know, and
Exactly.
and the, when you look at the nature of the cosmos and the intelligence, like the universal intelligence that allows everything to be in perfect balance. You don't go to somewhere in the cosmos and realize that the fabric is melting.
No.
It's not. Uh, and I know there are black holes and white holes and all kinds of stuff, but the cosmos is always in a state of pure balance, equilibrium, in perfect law and order, and divine life is responsible for that. Part of the meditation is okay, when I'm meditating on that electric field magnetically aligned with all those the infinite numbers of electrical particles, divine life and universal mind and creative intelligence existing within and behind all of that energy, keeping everything in balance. It's like the air that we have. We can get into a hermetically sealed box, and yogis will do that, but they'll still find enough prana to live on in an atmosphere where there's no the oxygen is depleted. It's like they're going into this space that says, I believe that divine life gives me my breath. And so the breath could come from outside, but when you investigate that love breath meditation, it encourages you to go inside and notice the electromagnetic field. And this is what's cool because I've heard all my life that God is everywhere. And going, okay, yeah, God is everywhere. What does that even mean?
Right.
And so it wasn't until um, this idea came that divine life exists within and behind all those electrical particles. It's the intelligence of life, and that where we are now in the third dimensional realm, we can tune in to ourselves as a unit body into all the organ systems and all the tissue and all the elements and all the cells and the atomic form. But on the other side of the atomic form, on the other side of those light particles, just for a human mind, is the spirit realm. And so I can draw from the spirit realm through the subatomic field and bring that quality, the qualities of life, into my cellular matrix just by opening the channel and saying, okay, the portal of the brow allows me to check into the bindi point. And from the bindi point, I realize that I'm electrical particles magnetically aligned. And so I got to manage my thoughts, and then I direct my thoughts as a searchlight through that subatomic field into the spirit realm and make the connection. And so ultimately that's meditation, tuning into the spirit realm through the fabric of your body. Is that
Mm.
amazing or what?
You're, I mean, you are speaking my love language. I mean, that is literally my love language. I just, I think it's so important to, okay, first of all, my favorite word is portal. So I believe that we have so many portals to open to, and then the spirit realm is my favorite place to go.
Hmm.
So between a portal and a spirit realm, I really don't need anything else. And some of the most powerful meditations, this is just when I meditate, so I'd love to hear when you meditate, but I now purposely go to sleep when I'm not sleepy. So I don't watch a show to go to sleep anymore. I don't read a book and put my sleep self to sleep anymore. I have been doing this for a while, and it's so it just is so powerful to me. But I lay in my bed and I put a pillow over my third eye, or you can do an eye mask or anything like that. And I open up a portal wherever I want to go. I do start in the third eye. I do start in the sixth chakra, and I go into there, and then I venture out. So I go into the bendy point that you're talking about, and then I allow, sometimes I ask for guides and angels to take me some places, and sometimes I just open the portal and go for a visit. Um, and it's amazing what happens. And I last probably for about 10 minutes if I had to put a timer on it before I'm knocked out.
Hmm.
And then I do the same thing in the morning. I set the alarm early, but I don't get out of bed. I definitely don't check my phone. I do not think of other people. And I go straight back to that bendy point, that third eye. And I usually do some type of healing. So I'm a little more purposeful in the morning. I'll heal. You know how you sometimes wake up with that shot of adrenaline
Hmm.
or that to-do list that was haunting you?
Yeah.
Or for right now, I'm like worried about my teenager, so she's waking me up a lot. But I wake up and I go into full meditation healing mode while my husband's still snoring. He doesn't really snore, but like the soft
Yeah.
little light, I'm still sleeping snore.
Uh-huh.
And I've had initiations, like just last week, I had an initiation with the blue people from the spirit realm. I have all kind of amazing stuff that happens. So, I wish we could talk about meditation at too, which you did, right? Open the portal, see what's in there, go into spirit realm, come back, bring it into human realm, and allow it to elevate your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like if we can access that space, the more we access it and actually acknowledge that we're drawing the prana and life force, some of it comes from outside, some of it, very little, comes in with food, some of it comes from the environments that we hang out in, but
Mhm.
the dominant uh, amount of prana we get is coming from the spirit realm. And so when we allow prana to come in from that reservoir, then um, and the more often we do it, then we're able to work more. We're able to um, you know work to our destiny, work toward, a common spiritual evolution. And so that I notice, and that hearing you talking, us talking now, makes me realize that, I realize that when I'm working with classes or I'm working uh, with sound, either playing music or gong, I get done and I feel really good, but then I'm leaving. If I don't seal the space, or if I don't keep the connection open, I'm feeling really uh, tired,
Oh, yes. Oh, that's
right?
a good point. Got to close back the portal.
Yeah, and you have to just, okay, this is my bubble of energy, and if I want to expand it, I can, but then that means that I'm sealing a bigger cocoon.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. That's
and
a
and
really good
so
point. Thank you for sharing that. I totally forgot about that because,
um, yeah, you cut out. I don't know if you asked me a question, but the your image kind of
I
froze.
know. You're
Whatever you
the
said didn't come through. I don't know if you asked me a question or not.
Oh, I just said no, thank you for telling us like to close the portal or close the space or seal the space. And it's the same thing after working with clients. If you're doing energy work, yoga class, any type of bringing in spirit into, 5D into the 3D, different realm into our human realm, we need to remember to wash our hands, let the energy go down the drain, seal the space. You can go back to being human.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. With just a little more juice, just a little more, a
That's
little
right.
more, because I'm learning even as I'm speaking in the class. I've gotten where I'm going, okay, I know that spirit has a sense of humor because, they're just feeding these lines that come. It's like the other day we were doing warm-ups and we were doing Sufi grinds, and all of a sudden, I'm saying sushi grinds, and
Yeah.
people are just laughing, and I'm going, those wiseacres, guides in spirit are just kind of, having fun. And
Of
and that's
course.
and that's another dynamic of doing this work is that, if it's not fun, don't do it.
I totally agree. If it doesn't light you up, forget it.
Yeah,
And
find
so
something
most
else.
people say like meditation is hard or it's boring or I can't sit still or, there's so many excuses, but what they don't understand is it's so fun. Like when you get into it, it's so fun. You will see, like yesterday I saw my grandpa as a shaman. Okay. In this lifetime, he would probably die if he knew I was podcasting about him. Okay.
Yeah.
He was a very prominent attorney, maritime law attorney. There was no shaman. And in my meditation, oh my God, he was literally protecting me and he was a shaman and he was learning. And, we always learn and grow even in the spirit realm, don't you think? Or is
Yes.
that just me?
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, definitely. Definitely. Definitely learning. And when you can be in this realm and the spirit realm at the same time, it's just like, whoa.
Oh, that's what happened to me yesterday. I was in my human body getting massage, and then boom, this portal opened and he came in, and I was like, hey, what are you doing here dressed like that? And
Yeah.
why do
That's
you
so
look like an
cool.
Indian? Why do you look like you're in a tribe right now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we let you go, because I want to ask you because you mentioned the word, and I know we've been talking a long time, but destiny. I would love your 5 minutes or less, really feel on destiny. Do you feel like our destiny is really set for us? Because in the Kundalini Yoga numerology book, our destiny is set, correct? And then we're coming here to work through it through meditation, kriyas, um, our numbers, exactly when we were born. And it's a whole system. So, do you believe um, in that our destiny is already laid out for us and we're here to work through it? Or give us your opinion. I would love, because destiny fascinates me and so does karma, but we'll save that for a different podcast if you're up for that.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that one later. But yeah, the destiny, there are people that say, it's like we have to be, some of us have to be convinced to come down into this realm, um, and so, or sometimes we're in the spirit realm and we realize we're coming down and we say, okay, this time I'm going to work on this such and such. You
Hmm.
never have to work on everything all at once. You
True.
just go, okay, this time I'm going to, you just have a recipe. I'm going to make a pecan praline pie with this life. And so, you just collect all the ingredients of your life to realize pecan praline pie, or I'm going to let go of my insecurity in my relationship with my parents, which could take a lifetime to do, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you to me, that the destiny is, okay, I said that I'm going to come into this family at this time because this is my best chance of fulfilling this item in my spiritual bucket list. And so, um, I either pay attention to doing that or I don't. And even if I'm not paying attention, the lessons are still going to come. But if I'm not paying attention, they're just going to start piling up until I feel overwhelmed. And then at that overwhelm point, uh, like AKA dark night of the soul, all the weight hits and you go, okay, I give up. I'm just going to open up to spirit and say, I give up. This is just too much. And then you get some insight and you get some energy and you go, oh, that's what I'm doing here. Or you have a near-death experience and you realize that, I was almost out of time, but somebody gave me a little more time. And the people that have that experience just retract their whole lives.
They do. And
So
what about,
like,
do you feel like if the destiny kind of, piles up, like you were saying, and we're unaware, right? Or we're refusing to be aware, either one,
right.
and then it's here. And what if someone says, I changed my mind. This is too hard. This human life is too hard. I don't want to stand up to my parents. I don't want to learn about this or that. I don't want to buck the system. Will their spirit just check out and say, it is an option to go? And then they look towards death.
Yeah, it is always an option to go. It is always an option to just say, this sucks. And I, I don't know, I like to think we all have been there. I know I've been
Oh,
there. People
I've been
have
there a
said,
couple
dude,
times.
what do you do? What do you expect? Um, and just realizing, it's like people that do shadow work, just look at the collection of shadows and go, okay, um, they're all here, they're all lined up. I have to work my way through them, acknowledge, uh, dissolve, resolve, all of that. Just take the wisdom of all my experiences before I have to leave. Because if I do it, fine. If I don't do it, I'll just have to come back and do it again. Maybe not in this realm, maybe in another realm, but it's still something I've created that, and it's like you go to get a massage, you go to get all the clutter and all the tension uh, kind of
Yeah.
released and dissolved so that you can feel your energy flowing again and go back to finding the wisdom behind the lessons, behind the experiences of, okay, what did I create and what's the wisdom within that creation? So,
Yes, I
and
love
that
that.
leads us into the karma, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and we'll do karma another time, but yes, and it's hard. And last piece of advice. Okay, so if anybody listening is having children, okay, or loved ones, or family members, anyone that they're around, even friends, if they see this stuff piling up, right? All the shadows piling up, all the refusal piling up, all the I don't want to, it's too hard piling up, and you're the witness, okay? So pretend I'm the witness. Listeners are the witness. What's your advice to the witness of people watching this, another human adding it up and saying maybe it is too hard, or not reaching out for help, or what do you think about that? Tell us your advice.
well, I think what comes is accentuate the positive. It's like the shadow is just shadow. What's important is the light that's trying to get through the shadow. So it's like the soul, the jewel of the soul encased within the lotus of the heart is taking the light of the divine and shining it through the soul into the fabric of the body, the emotions, the mind, the electromagnetic field that's holding all of this stuff from the past. And a lot of times it's just, well, you can't tell somebody where they have gone wrong because they don't see it.
Right.
Even if you rub their nose in it, they'll say, "What are you, all you're doing is making me feel bad." And so you just accentuate the light and say, when I've seen the light shining, from you in different circumstances, and I just want to let you know I appreciate it. And as soon as they start
Yeah.
aligning with that light, then that light will shine on the shadows, and the shadows, it's like part of acknowledging that light is recognizing that that's who you are, and you know appreciate it and encourage more. But it
Encourage
just
more.
has to be
Okay.
so subtle. It's a subtle thing. You can't tell people what they're doing wrong, even if you see it, because
Yeah.
it's in here. It's in the mind. The mind is stuck in that. And so you just go, hey, I was wondering if you could help me out. I got a friend that's doing exactly the things that they're doing. And but it's this person over here. What do you suggest? Uh, do you have any advice? And then they'll have to think. And as soon as they come up with some advice, it's it's within their field of energy. And you go, wow, thanks very much. That helps me out a lot. And you can say you'll tell that person or not, it doesn't matter. But it's like that's why we talk to each other, so we can hear ourselves talk, hear ourselves think, and then go, oh, I didn't know I was carrying that around.
Yes. Oh, that resonates so much.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all like to think if everybody thought like us, life would be better.
Well, I think you have to want to be willing to change. You have to want to be aware. You have to want to be present. And so we're just big wannabes, right? But we want to be a better version of ourselves. I know I did, and I still do. And I am a better version of myself than even 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and to think about what I came from and how I used to act to now. I mean, it's like a huge difference. And I think meditation and yoga and visiting the spirit realm and being open to the weird stuff is what changed me,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And
because I was just too in my brain. I was just too ego. Oh, my ego comes out to play. Don't get me wrong.
oh no, I know it. Same here. Same here. I know exactly where I am when I get into that bag of tricks.
Okay, so tell us where we can find you and what are you doing? Are you doing some private coaching? Are you teaching classes? Can they join your online class? Are you still teaching that? Tell us a couple of ways that you would like to connect with someone if they resonate with you and your energy, where they can find you.
Yes, SiriBahadur.com, SiriBahadur.com is my website, and my classes and just different stuff that I'm doing is located there. I do a Tuesday night Zoom class with some people that I have been doing that with since COVID hit. And it may be three people, it may be 7 or 8 people, but as soon as we get down to business, it's like the space opens up and it's really beautiful. And so that's like about an hour and 5, 10 minute class on Tuesday evenings. And if you're in Austin, I teach in Austin Mondays at at 10 at Shunia Yoga Collective and at noon at Flow Westgate. But I'm doing a gong training November
Okay.
22nd and 23rd at Flow Cedar Park. That's coming up. And I just the group that I play with, we play at a couple studios, one the second Saturday of the month, the other one the third Saturday of the month. We're looking for gigs. We're always looking for gigs, and it's really nice because it just opens that portal of Shunya for people just to elevate and feel good for an evening. And I'm working with a special lady. We both play gongs and bowls and create chanting. And Nam Jyoti is the lady's name. And she always tells people when we have an event that we are in that moment on tour. So it's kind of like we're setting the intention that we are just going from place to place playing this stuff, just like we were a rock band or something. So,
You
uh,
are a rock band. Wait, what's her name? Because the video cut out for a minute. What's her name again?
Nam Jyoti, Namjhoti. Yeah, and we have a
Okay.
website. It's called Siri Nam, SiriNam.com.
Okay.
And so you can learn about us there, her and I, and the group doesn't. Our website, the group Spirogy, is not active quite yet.
Okay, Siri Naam.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, well, that's exciting. You are doing a lot.
yeah, yeah. I'm busy. I started in my working life doing a little bits of this, what I'm doing now. And when I quit working, I went into it full time between taking care of the property of the house and teaching and doing this stuff. My life is full. It's more than petting dogs and playing guitar and knowing
Yeah.
stuff. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you're on tour, you're teaching, you're elevating people's lives. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love you, and it's such a pleasure to share this time.
Oh, thanks. I love you too. You're such a bright light in the world. So thank you for coming on. And if people watch this and like it, they can follow you and like and comment and rate the podcast Awake and Change. And we'll do more. You're going to come back and let's do some karma and some other good stuff.
I will look forward to.
And and if you want a rock band and hire him for the tour, sounds like he's open.
I do travel.
He travels. Okay. All right. Sat Nam, everybody, and have a great afternoon, evening, or morning whenever you're listening.
Thank you.